holiday. Appreciate everybody in the stream, listening on audio as well. And right now, we are being joined by, I couldn't think of anybody better to talk about some of these California Classic rosters. We're being joined by none other than Deuce Mason of the Deuce and Mo podcast, a guy that's helped me a lot throughout my journey in the Kings media world. Deuce, how are you doing, man? Thanks for hopping on.
Brenden, what's up, dude? I am good. I am literally diving into California Classic rosters. And let me tell you, trying to look up 20 different players for the Hornets is a lot of fun. And then I'm going to dive into the Chinese national team.
Good luck with that one, man. Yeah, are you having fun with that? You're in the weeds here.
I am so in the weeds. It's fun, because we just got the rosters. Like, we got the Hornets and Spurs a couple days ago. But now we just got the Kings and the Chinese national team yesterday. So it's like, all right, let's go. And, we know some of the Kings guys, of course, but there's so many players, especially the Chinese national team. I'm sorry, I'm not watching Team China play all the time, so I don't know all these guys, but it's fun. This is exciting.
Yeah. Hoophead, you're not watching the Chinese national team, man? You got to lock in.
I got to catch up and watch them play Australia. They were just in Australia.
Jeez, yeah. See, well, you're ahead of my schedule on that. I guess before we get into some of the Kings guys, who on these other rosters stands out to you?
Oh, man. I just dove into the Hornets a little bit. And, it's a bummer that Tijan Salon's not playing. Like, I really wanted to see him play. Brandon Miller is going to be there, but not playing too. So it's kind of just a mixed bag of younger guys, but everyone's got a story. Like, that's, I think, the most exciting thing about the Summer League guys is when you dive in, you just hear these journeys, and you just never know, because there's so many times a guy may have gone undrafted, and then he gets noticed, gets a G League opportunity, and all of a sudden he gets like an NBA opportunity and turns into something. Like Duncan Robinson's a great example of that. Duncan Robinson kind of got started in the Summer League, then gets an opportunity with Sioux Falls, and then does his thing there, and eventually gets a long-term NBA contract and made a lot of money. So that's probably the most exciting part about it, is like all these young guys are going to be in Sacramento, some in San Francisco, then Vegas, and they're just going to be playing their asses off trying to get that NBA opportunity.
Absolutely. And, you cover a lot of those type of stories a lot, doing your work with the Stockton Kings. I think Keon Ellis absolutely fits into that as well, obviously. I remember the first California Classic seeing even older guys, obviously Keegan Murray last year, but or maybe higher touted prospects. But I remember the first California Classic year, Bam Adebayo in Miami Heat are in town, and Bam's playing point guard. He's bringing the ball to the floor, and I'm like, oh, this is something. And then he takes a playmaking jump, and you kind of see some of those things throughout the course of Summer League and these other actions where guys get to expand their game. But, a lot of people talking about external improvement right now, obviously with potential trades or free agency all going on right now. That's obviously the current buzz. But I think that internal improvement can be getting overlooked a little bit throughout the course of this process. We kind of talked about Fox, Keegan, Malik, and Domas, some of the obvious ones there. But of the guys on this roster, this Summer League roster, whether Keon Ellis, Colby Jones, even Mason Jones in here, and some of the newer two-way guys, is there somebody that you're looking at specifically where you're like, I want to see a big jump that you feel like could eventually translate to the main squad as well next year?
Well, I think for me, it's seeing someone like Keon Ellis get this opportunity to play in the summer. And I don't know if he's playing in Vegas or not, but, last year when Keegan Murray played, you could see like the aspects of his game that improved, and he lit it up. Now, I'm not expecting Keon Ellis to come out and drop 40 points in a Summer League team, but you would like to see, now that he's got some legit NBA experience, what that looks like playing against this type of competition. Is he more aggressive scoring? You talk about Bam Adebayo, you're exactly right. I want to see Keon Ellis with the ball in his hands, and let's see how he creates. This is the time to test it out. This is the time to look at it and figure out, okay, can we give him an opportunity to handle the ball more at the NBA level? I feel like he kind of struggled with ball pressure at times last year. So what does that look like coming up in Summer League? And same with Colby Jones. Like, Colby Jones is another guy that I want to see what it looks like. He got a ton of time in the G League, but this is a good chance to show what they've been working on and take that step.
Deuce, it's Kyle Ledbetter, longtime listener, first-time caller here.
Kyle.
So the Kings signed a couple of two-way players, obviously Isaac Jones and Isaiah Crawford. These are players who are going to be the most instrumental come the Vegas Summer League, I would imagine. What have your impressions been of them, and what do you think you're looking to see from them over the next few weeks?
Well, I would say with those guys, it's interesting. You're seeing what Monty McNair and this Kings front office is trying to do, at least like building this Summer League roster out. There's a lot of length out there, right? And Isaiah Crawford's someone that I'm not going to pretend like I was like locked in on pre-draft. I'm like trying to focus on like, hey, what are they going to do at 13? I'm not diving in to second round prospects, but after they drafted him and reading up and watching some of his video, you see the tools he has. And, he's had a couple of ACL tears, and I think that probably hurt him a little bit, but he put up some fantastic numbers and shown the ability that he could defend at a high level. At 6'5", you're like, oh, he's not very big, but the guy's got a 7.5 wingspan, an 8'9" standing reach. They talk about how big his hands are, and he's able to knock down the three the last couple of years. That's been a big-time jump. So I like the fact that he's someone that a lot of the draft nerds were like into, and the Kings are like, yeah, let's give him an opportunity on a two-way contract and see what he can do out there. And that's what you like with both of those guys. They, even if they're a little undersized, they've got the length, and they have some versatility.
Deuce Mason of the Deuce and Mo podcast joining us here. I can already tell that Isaiah Crawford is going to be one of my guys. I'm very guilty of, like, I have a Jemias Ramsey cutout somewhere in the office. Robert Woodard was my guy. Like,
you fall in love with these. You got to be careful, Brenden. You got to learn these lessons. Robert Woodard, everyone was obsessed with his wingspan.
Well, to be fair, Deuce, the first time that I got in the practice facility and saw that guy shoot with nobody guarding him, I was like, okay, I might be out. I hate to be that guy. No, I don't want to learn my lesson. I enjoy this, Deuce. Okay, I like being able to say hi at Stockton and going out there and giving myself something to be excited about. What do you make of Drew Timme? People are really excited that Drew Timme is on the roster. Obviously, does that get you going at all?
No, not really.
Not really for me either, to be honest.
I mean, he had a really good college career, like, and played on some really good Gonzaga teams, and last year got the opportunity to play a bit in the G League too. I think it's, if you watch college basketball, you saw what he was able to. He's a fun player to watch at the college level, because you look at him and go, he doesn't look like he belongs, So when I saw his name on the roster, I definitely was like, ooh, that's going to be fun. But I don't necessarily look at him as someone that's going to be, hey, could he fight for a roster spot? Last year in the G League, he was with the Wisconsin Herd. And when I was looking him up a couple of days ago, or yesterday, when we got the rosters, he averaged like 9 points a game at the G League level, 6 rebounds, just under 2 assists. So, I don't know, is he a guy that could play in Stockton? I don't know what his long-term goals are. And some of these guys get the opportunity, they show out, and then all of a sudden they're getting deals to go play in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially with them having 2 teams, one playing at Golden one playing at Chase Center, it seems interesting to me that it almost seems like the second squad, essentially the B squad playing in Chase Center, is probably a lot of guys that are trying out for G League teams or end of other rosters or potentially overseas. And obviously with Isaac Jones and Isaiah Crawford getting signed to those 2 ways, Mason Jones is still on a 2-way since he signed that later in the year as well. That leaves Jordan Ford and Jalen Slauson on the outside. Now Ford is on the Chase Center roster, but no sign of Jalen Slauson. What's as somebody that watched them a lot, you broadcasted the games last year. What does that stand out to you at all? What's kind of your thoughts on them seemingly moving on from Slauson?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. Last year with the Stockton Kings, you saw flashes. Like, he plays with such great intensity, but there's also a rawness about his game. And it's tough to, want to commit maybe long-term to rawness when he's 24 years old, That's
Right.
just how I look at it. I don't know how they look at it. I think there's some things that stand out, like watching him play. You're like, dude, this guy is an athletic freak. He's able to have chase down blocks, but he's a little chaotic too. Probably gets in foul trouble too much. And the 3-point shooting isn't completely there. And I think, in today's game, you have to be able to be some sort of shooting threat or have some sort of elite skill. And I'm not sure he has that, and even defensively, I think he has the ability to guard a little bit, but even that can be a challenge at times. But he does play with a tremendous level of intensity, too much at times.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a couple technicals I saw.
He's fiery. He's fiery. Yeah. And, honestly, you need some of that sometimes, but it has to be a little more controlled. But, yeah, I am interested to see what happens with that because, they obviously gave him, it was a second-round pick last year, had him on a 2-way deal. So we'll see about that. That's interesting. Can I be honest? I didn't even realize he wasn't on the B team because I'm diving into the A team that I'm going to be covering in Sacramento.
Totally.
And I didn't even realize he wasn't even on there.
Deuce, one player that I'm very excited about for Summer League is Boogie Ellis, and that might just be because he grew up like 10 minutes away from where I did. Yeah. However, have you seen anything about him so far, and is he someone that they might be hoping will be a Stockton King for most of next season?
Yeah, I could see that, but that's the other thing. It's does he pop off and get a training camp invite somewhere else? But Boogie Ellis is like that classic undersized guard who he could score. You've shown the ability to knock down the three at a high level, but like a lot of these guys, it's like, your size can hurt you at this level. If you're small at the NBA level, you have to have something that pops to NBA talent evaluators. You look at someone like Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky. Well, this guy's got elite handles. He's got speed, shooting. And even he's a risk at the next level, right? So that's going to be the challenge for Boogie Ellis as a size perspective. And you see a lot of that come out in the G League where you're like, these guys are awesome. They're really good. Yeah, but can they guard their position? Can they score on NBA size? So someone like Boogie Ellis obviously has talent. He has the ability. He's done it at the college level. Now, can he do it enough at the NBA level? I'm sure he would be a candidate for Stockton if he has a good summer league.
Deuce Mason joining us here. You're a beast. We're deep in the weeds here. You're proving that you're a hoop head, as if you needed to prove it. I think it's very obvious at this point. I think another aspect of this, though, is the coaching staffs. We saw Luke Laux get an opportunity last year, and it sounds like he might get promoted to the front of the bench this season with Jordy Fernandez on the way out. Davidas Dolke's going as well. And on the A squad, we're going to see Doug Christie functioning as head coach there with Lindsey Harding below him. You got Barbosa there. You got Jimmy. Is it Alapag? Am I saying that right, Deuce?
Yeah.
A lot of guys that have been with Stockton, some with the main squad. Even if you go to the Chase Center squad, you got Jawad Williams, Will Scott, Robbie Lemons, Sam Longwood. Just how much have you seen these sort of opportunities help guys as coaches in the future?
Well, I think it's huge. And it's also like, you have to put people in different spots. And if you have people who are interested in coaching and being on the bench and they want to have different duties, this is the time to do it. I mean, look at the Spurs Summer League coach, Kenny Trevino. So he started as a Spurs ball boy when he was 11. Oh, wow. Eventually became an equipment manager in like 2012 or something like that. And now he's a video coordinator. He's grinded his way up. They're giving him the opportunity as a 31-year-old to go out there and be a head coach. He's put the work in. And someone like Doug Christie, we've seen him, fill in on an interim basis when Alvin Gentry missed time, when he had COVID. And Doug's been an assistant. He's been a player. Like, this is just good for him to get more of an opportunity to put a game plan together, work with these young guys like he likes. And it's the same thing with all the assistants, people who may be more have different duties during the regular season. Hey, now you're an assistant coach. You gotta help out with Doug Christie a little bit. I think it's amazing, and that's the best part about Summer League. And that's the other thing. It's not just the players, man. All of a sudden Mike Brown's getting good feedback on one of his assistants, and it's like, maybe this person has the ability to have an expanded role. Maybe we'll give this person a little more responsibility headed into next year.
Yeah, it's part of the reason I love G League, Summer League. It's for everybody. Like you're saying, it's the players, it's the coaches, broadcasters, reporters. I get more access with less competition. It's referees getting a chance to work their way up. And I think that's always a very fun part of the process. We got Jojo Rose in the chat here asking if Deuce gets 15 minutes in the Cal Classic game, what are his stats? And I think I'm going to rework this to if we each got 15 minutes, who's putting up better numbers?
I'm definitely putting up the best. Are you talking about us three right now?
Yeah.
Me, you, and Kyle?
Yeah.
I'm putting up the best numbers for sure.
Deuce, I'm a real hooper over here. I'm just telling you this.
Our numbers field goal attempts? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, if you're looking at that, I'm talking about rebounding, probably some deflection steals. I'm probably your guy. Kyle's Kyle weighs like $150 at like 6'3". We'll just push him to the ground. He's done. Brenden, you're just a little too undersized. I don't know you have the impact.
Okay,
I'm allowed to. I bruise. You can find. Hey, Brenden, why don't you come out, Tempton P, Roosevelt Park, one of these weekends and see for yourself.
I am super down.
I was going to say, Deuce, I'm out there all the time. I've never seen you out there.
You are not out there.
Legend at 9th and P. That's what I am, a legend.
I have seen some of your clips recently, Deuce. Looked like you were giving Mo some work the other day.
She kissed me a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was the other way around. That's right. I think I saw a little step back.
Let's be honest about it. I shut her down later.
Yeah,
she only put a couple of plays. She hit threes. She's a good shooter. She played college basketball. That's a high level basketball. Good player. Now I'm going to hate on that, but I would definitely have. I could get 6 to 7 rebounds in that time probably.
Yeah. I could see you. Yeah, maybe a little Devin Carter out there. I'll give it to you, I guess. But
6 rebounds, 0 points.
My vert's not 42 inches like Devin Carter's, but I can get some.
But is it like 22 inches?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
hopefully.
then you're fine.
I don't know. I need to measure my vert. That's a good question.
Yeah, we need to get out to the combine, all three of us.
Do one of those like jump things where you slap the little things that spin around. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I do. I don't know, but no one knows what it's called.
Yeah, no one knows what it's called.
It's just like the vertical test. I don't know, the measurement for the vertical. One other thing for you, Deuce. Kyle and I were trying to figure out, funnily enough, he asked me if I had any recommendations for 4th of July things in Sac, and I had planned to ask him the same thing. So you seem like the right guy to throw this question to. Do you have any recommendations?
4th of July things in Sacramento?
Yeah. Shows.
Do they still do the fireworks in like downtown? I don't even know. I did that years ago. 4th of July. I'm not usually in town on 4th of July. This is a weird time for me to be in town. I haven't been in Sacramento for 4th of July the last couple of years. But 4th of July is usually dead in downtown Sacramento. If they do fireworks, go over by the river, by like Old Sacramento. That's fun to see. I don't know. That's a good question.
All right, good to know.
I don't have a good answer for you. You know what I want? I want some Monty McNair 4th of July fireworks today. Where's my I want to trade today. I want to trade while Brenden is live. That's what I want today.
That's what I'm thinking. We were talking. I'm like, Kevin Durant went to the Warriors on this day years ago. Can I get something going on here? Is there, of the names, a lot of names linked, is there anything that stands out to you specifically as like you're a guy that could take them to home court contention?
I love Brenden Ingram. I like Markkanen too. I think that is such a pipe dream. I'm like, well, what's the trade that's going to get you Markkanen? This is Danny Ainge we're talking about. He's not donating you, Lauri Markkanen. But Ingram, that's been my guy for a minute. And I just think you add someone that's 6'9". I think he has the ability to thrive more with Sacramento. When he thrived most in New Orleans, it was when he's playing with a point guard, when he's playing with Lonzo, when he's playing with Drew Holiday. Well, last couple of years, who's the point guard in New Orleans? It's like CJ bringing it up, Zion, Brenden Ingram. Let him play in an up-tempo system. He played under Alvin Gentry, where he was taking a lot more threes and knocking them down. I think he's a guy that can go get you a bucket defensively. He's not a lockdown guy by any means, but it's going to be an upgrade. The guy can contest. He's long, over a 7-foot wingspan. He could switch. I think it would be a huge upgrade for Sacramento. And then, Kuzma, I could talk myself into because I just think his athleticism and playmaking and size would be good for the Kings. It just seems like the Wizards are asking too much for him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Well, Deuce Mason, thank you for hopping on 4th of July. Whatever plans you got, hope you enjoy. And as always, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. See you soon. See you, Kyle.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody, listening in there. And again, of course, thanks to Deuce Mason for hopping on at the Deuce and Mo podcast. Like I said, somebody that's been very helpful for me throughout this process, and clearly a hoops junkie into the weeds of some of these summer league rosters. And I think that there are interesting things to watch for throughout some of these games for sure. Obviously, no Devin Carter, by the way, participating in that. I think that we can get to that after a break here into some of the specifics. But that he did have a shoulder injury that Monty McNair said he was aware of, and that is going to take him out of all of Summer League. That includes Vegas and the California Classic. That was per Fox 40's Sean Cunningham earlier in this week. That may have been yesterday, actually. And the plan is for Sean to join the show a little bit later as well, as we tease that. But yeah, I think that we're planning on getting to a break here, and as we get back, I want to dive into some of the things that Deuce was talking about. We'll get to some of the audio surrounding Devin Carter's injury and why he may be available, but Summer League right around the corner, and definitely things to watch for. So we will dive into that right when we get back here on Sactown Sports 1140.